Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gateway TV, Gateway Gazette program. We broadcast live every Thursday at 8:30 from our London studio. This is News and Views channel, and we highlight the news from across the world. As you know, we are doing this show from the last 16 years. We started in July or August in 2009, and since then, this program is continued from 16 years. We discuss different issues. हम हर दफ़ा जो है मुख्तलिफ मौज़ूआत पे बात करते हैं, लेकिन आज का जो मेरा मौजू है वो बिल्कुल एक डिफरेंट है। और आज हम बात करेंगे दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, और पिछले अगर हम कोई 1.5-2 साल से देखें तो हम इसी बात पे बात करते हैं कि दुनिया में जो है अमन नहीं है, जंग हो रही है। लेकिन आज का जो हमारा मौजू है वो है डिप्लोमेसी बियॉन्ड बॉर्डर्स, इंटरफेथ लीडरशिप एंड रीजनल स्टेबिलिटी। आप जानते हैं कि इस वक्त पूरी दुनिया में किस तरह बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हम एक दूसरे को तस्लीम करें, एक दूसरे के मज़हब का, एक दूसरे के अकायद का, एक दूसरे को बर्दाश्त करें और उनके साथ अपने रवैयों को बेहतर करें, और तब भी हम जो है खित्ते में बेहतरी लेके आ सकते हैं। और आज के जो मेरे जो दो मेरे जो है मेहमान हैं, मैं चाहूँगा अपनी टेक्निकल टीम से कि प्लीज़ इफ़ आई कैन सी देम। मेरे आज दो बड़े ही डिस्टिंग्विश गेस्ट हैं। प्रोफेसर एम्बेसडर अकबर अहमद, जो कि किसी तारुफ के मुताज नहीं, ही चेयर हैं इब्ने खल्दून Islamic Study at American University in Washington, D.C. Mr. Ahmed dedicated more than 3 decades to the civil service of Pakistan and served as Pakistan's High Commissioner to the UK and Ireland. He is a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, the first distinguished chair of Middle East and Islamic Studies at the US Naval Academy. Or also he is a MD, the Iqbal Fellow, a chair of Pakistan Studies and fellow of Salvin College at the University of Cambridge, and teaching positions at Harvard and Princeton University, visiting professor at the University of Cambridge Center of Gender Studies, and is acknowledged as a notable alumnus at London and Birmingham universities. और अगर मैं एम्बेसडर अकबर अहमद के बारे में आपको बताना शुरू कर दूँ, और अगर उनकी मैं जितना कुछ भी उन्होंने किया है, तो यकीन जानिए कि मेरा प्रोग्राम जो है पूरा उनके इंट्रोडक्शन में ही चला जाएगा। एंड एज फार एज एजुकेशन इज कंसर्न, ही ग्रेजुएटेड फ्रॉम यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ पंजाब एंड यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ बर्मिंघम, एंड लेटर attended Cambridge University with his master degree. He graduated with a PhD in anthropology at the School of Oriental and African Study, University of London. Or my second guest is also very known, Dr. Amine Hoti. Dr. Hoti is a PhD. She is a program director, international peace builder, global leadership. The area is very wide, so I will just mention few of them. Conflict resolution, social anthropology, South Asia, women's education. Currently, Dr. Hoti, she is teaching, she has different position at University of Cambridge, UK, and also University Nottingham. She's also a professor there and visiting fellow at BNU, which is Bannu, Beacon House, National University, Pakistan. Dr. Hoti, she's also PhD social anthropology, the University of Cambridge, and she has also done her BSc social anthropology, the London School of Economics. और मैं अगर डॉक्टर होती के बारे में या एम्बेसडर अकबर के बारे में आपको बताऊं, तो यकीन जानिए कि आज का हमारा प्रोग्राम जो है उसके लिए बहुत कम होगा। तो I would like to thank you for both of you कि आपने डॉक्टर होती हमें ज्वाइन किया। एम्बेसडर अकबर, वी आर वेरी थैंकफुल टू यू कि आप तो इससे पहले भी मेरे साथ 3-4 प्रोग्राम कर चुके हैं, एंड वी आर सो ग्रेटफुल Thank you very much and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brother John. It's always a pleasure to be with you. As you said, ये पहला मेरा शो नहीं है आपके साथ, Gateway Gazette के साथ. I had the honor of being on your show. And at one stage, I was on your show with my dear भाई थे, दोस्त थे, companion थे, Dr. James Shera, who we miss dearly. और ये I want to give you congratulations because आप खिदमत कर रहे हैं community both in the UK and also back in Pakistan, because you are acting as the real ambassador between these communities. और ये जो रोल है मेरे लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट रोल है, बिकॉज जैसे आपने कहा इंट्रोडक्शन में, हर जगह दुनिया में आजकल की जो हमारी दुनिया है, अफरा तफरी है, तसादुम है, जंगें चल रही है. तो ये जो रोल है आपका एम्बेसडर का, जो आपने कहा है कि हम यूमा साहब ने यूज द वर्ड बर्दाश्त, मैं तो कहता हूँ आप गले मिले लोगों से, एम्ब्रेस पीपल. और एग्जाम्पल आपके सामने है, द बिगेस्ट एग्जाम्पल दैट हमारी जो शेयर्ड हिस्ट्री है, दीज ग्रेट फिगर्स, जीसस फॉर एग्जाम्पल, उनका जो मैसेज था कि लव वन अनदर, ये कमांडमेंट उनका था. ही डिडंट से मे बी यू लव, मे बी यू डोंट. इट वाज अ कमांडमेंट व्हिच मींस यू मस्ट लव वन अनदर. दीज आर थिंग्स दैट वी हैव फॉरगॉटन. सो thank you for reminding us, and we should do everything we can. So that is the only thing that will control ये जो आग लगी हुई है दुनिया में. That is the only thing that will bring that fire down.
And एम्बेसडर साहब, मुझे यकीन है कि ये जो आग जो है वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ख़त्म होगी. आप जैसे लोगों से, डॉक्टर होती जैसे लोगों से, जो कि पूरी दुनिया को साथ लेके चलते हैं. और मेरी आज से तकरीबन कोई 7-8 महीने पहले डॉक्टर होती से यहाँ पे लंदन में, यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ लंदन में मुलाकात हुई थी एक प्रोग्राम के सिलसिले में. तो मुझे बड़ी खुशी होती है कि आप लोग कम्युनिटी को एंगेज करते हैं, और जब हम किसी भी इशू को जब हम टेबल पे लेके आते हैं तो वो प्रॉब्लम जो जितनी भी बड़ी हो वो आसान हो जाती है. आज का हमारा जो प्रोग्राम जो है वो इस लिहाज से भी बड़ा मुनफरद है, क्योंकि हमने आज मिडल ईस्ट की जो है सिचुएशन को भी डिस्कस करना है, हमने पाकिस्तान की दुनिया के लीडर्स के रोल को भी देखना है, और ये भी देखना है कि हमारा अपना कंट्रीब्यूशन जो है वो क्या होता है. तो व्हाट आई विल डू, आई विल स्टार्ट अ प्रोग्राम. हम उर्दू, इंग्लिश, आप जो बेहतर समझते हैं, यू कैन आंसर इन इंग्लिश, यू कैन आंसर इन उर्दू. तो क्योंकि हमारा जो चैनल जो है यहाँ पे भी देखा जाता है और फिर दूसरे ममालिक में भी देखा जाता है. तो एम्बेसडर अकबर, आई विल स्टार्ट माई प्रोग्राम, माई क्वेश्चन विद यू. ये मुझे बताइए कि हिस्टोरिकली व्हाई हैव मेनी अरब एंड इस्लामिक कंट्री हिस्टोरिकली रिफ्यूज टू रिकग्नाइज इज़राइल. उन्होंने अभी तक जो है इज़राइल को जो है क्यों जो है रिकग्नाइज नहीं किया? उसकी वजह ये तो नहीं कि उनकी जो सॉलिडारिटी जो है वो पैलेस्टीनियन के साथ है, या रिलीजियस की जो है सिग्निफिकेंस है, या कोई और वजह है. मैं चाहूँगा आप अपने तजर्बे को देखते हुए, क्योंकि आप तमाम मज़ाहिब के लोगों के साथ मुलाकात करते हैं, तो व्हाट इज़ योर से ऑन दिस?
थैंक यू जॉन. ये बहुत ही अहम सवाल है, बहुत ही अहम सवाल है, पॉलिटिकली, सोशली, कल्चरली. और आपको पता है कि डॉक्टर होती was the first founder director of the only Jewish Muslim Christian center in the world. ये कैम्ब्रिज में. तो इन्होंने बहुत काम किया था. इनके पेट्रन थे चीफ रैबी ऑफ द यूके जोनाथन सैक्स. तो she has spent a lifetime promoting this dialogue. अभी भी she is very much involved in that. किताबें लिख रही है, टीवी पे आ रही है, promoting it. It's very difficult, जैसे आप जानते हैं, खातून के लिए in this environment, but she's been very courageous and very brave. तो आपका जो सवाल है, I want to refer to history. Historically, Muslims and the Jewish community had no problem. आप अगर तारीख देखें तो अंदलूसिया में 700-800 years they got on very well. There was cultural synthesis, there was political synthesis. So great शायर जो थे उस वक्त के, जो writers थे, they were Jewish. Muslim rule था उस वक्त, ग्रेनाडा में, कर्दोबा में. और ये आप तारीख पढ़ सकते हैं. And they had problems because हर जगह problems होते हैं, आपस में मुसलमानों के problems होते हैं. But overall, there was a time of what the Spanish call la convivencia. मतलब उस लफ्ज़ का ये है coexistence. बहुत important है, not toleration but coexistence. फिर जब वहाँ से वो एक्सपेल हुए, then the Jewish community moved to Morocco, Muslim countries. A lot of them went to the Ottoman countries. Ottomans were also, they flourished, they did very well. मैं खुद गया हूँ, I went to Thessaloniki in Greece. वहाँ मुझे एक म्यूजियम थी, Jewish museum. वहाँ लोगों ने बताया कि these are pieces from the Jewish period when they dominated Thessaloniki. Because they were given the take-up for the uniforms of the Ottoman army. So they made the uniforms, so there was a very big business. There were Nazis आए, Second World War, and things changed. So 1948 के बाद जब the state of Israel was formed, unfortunately, these two communities which had lived, they had problems, but they had also lived together and had a working relationship. That relationship collapsed. And now it is so bad over the last 80 years or so that you literally have a huge gulf, wide gulf. And I think it's very tragic because in dono mazhab, Jewish and Muslim, there's a lot that is in common. And there's a lot that can be done to build bridges. And I know that England, UK, there are a lot of people very involved in. I'm sure Dr. Hoti has much to say about this. So this is something that the community leaders must not despair, must not give up, because situation आजकल बहुत ही challenging है. आप देख रहे हैं कत्लेआम हो रहा है, खून है, pain है, loss है, and people get disheartened. They say क्या फायदा, because one individual voice can't do anything. I disagree. I believe that there are enough people on both sides, of people of goodwill, who want to build bridges and want to carry on the dialogue, and they must not give up, because ये ईसाई क्रिश्चियन मजहब में है, जोश मजहब में, इस्लामिक मजहब में ये है कि you must see the whole of universe. आपको पता है कि तीनों religions में there is a saying कि if you take one human life, which is like taking the lives of the entire world. अब ये एक sentiment है, meaning कि respect human life. And yet आप देखते हैं कितना खून बह रहा है, कितना दर्द है, और कितना दर्द inflict हो रहा है लोगों पर. That is something that can only stop when there are enough people of goodwill who get together and say, enough is enough, now we must stop. So I would say, John, that this is something that you can help by bringing in people for interfaith dialogue on programs like this and helping people understand why it is important. And it is not written in history. It is not written in stone. Historically, there were periods of great harmony and synthesis. आपको पता है the greatest rabbi of the Jewish faith 15th 16th century was Rabbi Maimonides, बहुत legendary rabbi, very great figure. मैंने उन पे बड़ा काम किया है, हमारे माए हैं. Do you know that he ended up as the physician to Sultan Salahuddin in Egypt? अब आप मुझे ये एग्जाम्पल दे सकते हैं आजकल की दुनिया में कि एक reverse it, कोई मुसलमान would be the main physician of some prominent Jewish leader? Yet I'm giving you many examples like this. So if we can go back in history and get examples which would inspire us to have better relations, we should be thinking of that. And this is where the role of scholars comes in, where we can help people understand that they don't be caught up in the present, in the contemporary. Also look back in history.
Thank you, Professor Akbar. मेरे पास आपके लिए आज, क्योंकि आपकी सफारती जो है रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रही है, अभी भी आप दुनिया के सफारतकारों से मिलते हैं और वाशिंगटन डीसी में बैठे हैं, कि जो कि एक मेन पॉइंट है पॉलिटिक्स का, कि जहाँ पे आप इस तरह के लीडर्स के साथ मुलाकात होती है, क्योंकि जिस जगह पे वाइट हाउस है आप उससे ज़्यादा दूर नहीं है. तो वी विल कम बैक टू यू, बट आई वुड लाइक टू आस्क अ कपल ऑफ क्वेश्चंस टू डॉक्टर होती, कि मैं, क्योंकि हम पाकिस्तान के कॉन्टेक्स्ट से भी बात करते हैं, क्योंकि मेरा आपका जो है एम्बेसडर साहब का जो ताल्लुक जो है वो डेफिनेटली हम लोग पाकिस्तान से हैं, और हम चाहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान का नाम जो है वो दुनिया में बेहतर हो, और हम अपना रोल जो है किस तरह से अदा करते हैं. तो मैं अगर आपसे ये पूछूं, क्योंकि ये जो हार्मनी होनी चाहिए या जो पीस होना चाहिए वो रिलीजियस लीडर की तरफ से भी होना चाहिए, तो अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं कि what role can Pakistani religious leader play in promoting peace and harmony? So what do you say about this?
Thank you very much, John, for having us on your show. It's a very important show, and I appreciate your platform and your efforts to build bridges, because globally a बहुत अहम वक्त है, and it is a difficult period. because we see different communities and conflict. And these are the little moments that can connect and help heal. So it's an important moment and good question. Religious leaders बहुत अहम हैं because they are leading each community and they are inspired by their religious texts, their sacred texts. And at the center of all sacred texts is God. And God's whole character is love. I want to read this beautiful saying that Professor Ahmed also just talked about, but I want to reiterate it, which is God is love and love is God. That's the Christian concept. And this beautiful saying again, which is, beloved, let us love one another because love is from God. Everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God. It's such an important saying, and this is John 4:7-8. So it's such an important concept that the whole understanding of our religious identity is based in the positive feeling and emotion of loving the Creator and loving all of humanity. And therefore, in that effort, it's so important that the religious leaders go back to their sacred text and learn their sacred text and teach those verses. Because whether it's the Quran or the Bible or the Hebrew Bible, all of them essentially talk about loving the other and loving humanity and not seeing yourself as superior and the other as inferior. And there's a beautiful saying from Islam, from the Prophet of Islam, which is everybody is as equal as the teeth of a comb. So everybody is brother and sister, whether they're male or female or elder or smaller. Everybody is one community and we love and respect each other. So that sort of concept is so important. We have, Brother John, we've been teaching these religious texts and training courses at the University of Cambridge, at my center where I work, and some of our students were imams, they were rabbis, they were priests. So I saw initially in these courses that some of the participants would come and there was some hostility in it, between the rabbis or the priests or in class. But through time, with ideas of empathy, understanding, respect, going back to the sacred text, and understanding of positive emotions like love, not hate, I saw a friendship develop. And out of that friendship, some of these groups went on from Cambridge into London. They did projects which were community based and included, some of them were women's groups, some of them were religious groups. So this sort of education is very important. And I actually
Dr.
believe
Hoti, sorry, can you just increase your voice because I do not hear. If you will just please.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was saying that it's important that religious leaders and academics participate in compulsory courses for universities, for schools, for policymakers, not just in countries like Pakistan or India, but in Europe, in America. It should be a global need. And we've got fantastic textbooks, which I'd love to talk about, which Professor and Ambassador Akbar Ahmed has written. Some books I've written, for example, Gems and Jewels. These can be used as bases to teach from, because they have the concept, they have diversity, and they have the voices of a diverse group of people.
Thank you so much, and I will come back to you. I just wanted to read a few historical facts, and I will quote from Bible, and then I will come back to Ambassador Akbar. The Bible provides several references that support the historical presence of Jews in the land of Israel. Genesis 12, God promises Abraham that his descendants will inherit the land of Canaan, which includes present-day Israel. Exodus and Joshua describe the Israelites' journey from Egypt and their conquest and settlement in the Promised Land. Kings and Chronicles details the establishment of Jewish kingdom in Israel, including Jerusalem as the capital. Ezra and Nehemiah record the return of Jews from Babylon exile to rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. These are some of the timeline which I discussed. So Professor Saab, I just want to ask you another question. What are the main political, religious and ideological reasons behind our own country Pakistan's refusal to recognize Israel?
I think, John, इसमें मैंने बड़ा सोचा है. I think that number one, it is emotional. A lot of Pakistanis see that what happened to the Palestinians को नाइंसाफी थी, and that they were उनकी ज़मीन छिनी, they weren't able to find a place, घर से बेघर हो गए. Number one. Number two, Al-Quds was involved, so it had a religious dimension. Number three, this confrontation kept getting worse and worse and worse. और जो peacemakers थे, they were peacemakers on both sides. When they were reaching out, उनको कत्ल कर दिया, like Rabin को, he was reaching out, he was trying to make peace. So it is a very difficult situation. और अब बड़ा tangled up हो गया. As far as Pakistan is concerned, it does not have a border with Israel. It does not have any direct clash with Israel. So therefore, if this issue can be resolved from the Arab side, I think that Pakistanis would be much more positive, because आप देख रहे हैं कि Saudi Arabia, UAE जो हैं countries, Arab countries, Jordan, Egypt, they have relations with Israel, and sooner or later, historically I'm speaking, sooner or later, these countries have to live together. They are in the same region. There may be some shifting of borders ऊपर नीचे, but they have to live together. Historically, मैंने कहा है कि they've lived together and they must live together in the future. अब देखें अभी जंग हुई है ईरान में और इजराइल में, अब किसका इसमें फायदा हुआ है? लोग इधर मारे गए, लोग इधर मारे गए, और हेट्रेड ज़्यादा बढ़ी है. पाकिस्तान इंडिया में जंग हुई, सेम थिंग, ज़्यादा हेट्रेड हुई है. नथिंग इज सॉल्व. सो जंग से, वॉर से, वायलेंस से बहुत कम कोई हल निकलता है. Therefore, they have to sit together and come up with dialogue, eventually becoming friends and resolving the issues between them. Now, आप कहेंगे भाई you are being idealistic. नहीं, John, I have been in the field. I have been commissioner, I have been political agent, and believe me, ये जो method है, tribesmen में, बलोच और पठानों में, ये जो system है जिरगा का, it's very effective. जब दोनों parties को आप बिठा लें और बैठते 2 दिन, 3 दिन, 4 दिन, they find a solution. फेस टू फेस, आमने सामने बैठते हैं और कुछ ना कुछ हल निकालते हैं. लेकिन नेशन जो है, आपने पूछा पाकिस्तान को डिप्लोमेटिकली, नेशन में ये होता है कि डिप्लोमेट्स फिर वो they get caught up with all the clauses and sub clauses, bureaucracy, और उससे फिर ज़्यादा पेचीदगी होती है, कॉम्प्लिकेशन होते हैं. तो मैं अगेन आई वुड रिपीट दिस, ये जो एजुकेशन जिसकी हम बात करें, इट इज मोस्ट नेसेसरी फॉर द लीडर्स ऑन बोथ साइड्स. थ्रू एजुकेशन, hopefully they will see how important it is for their own people to have dialogue, promote friendship, and hopefully then भाईचारा.
एम्बेसडर साहब, आपने जो बात की बड़ी अच्छी बात की थी. मैं उसी के आपके क्वेश्चन को आगे बढ़ाते हुए I just wanted to ask another question which is correlated. Many Islamic countries have formally recognized Israel and maintain good relation with it. Should Pakistan consider doing the same? और इसमें मैं एक रेफरेंस देना चाहूँगा. आपको याद होगा कि हमारे जो फॉर्मर प्रेसिडेंट थे जनरल परवेज मुशर्रफ, उन्होंने अपना जो इंटरेस्ट जो था शो किया था कि इम्प्रूविंग रिलेशन बिटवीन पाकिस्तान एंड इजराइल, पर्टिकुलरली ड्यूरिंग हिज टेन्योर जो 2000 में. In an interview in 2003 in USA, President Musharraf called for an open debate and recognizing Israel, stating, "What is our dispute with Israel? We should think, should we be more Palestinian than the Palestinians themselves?" He also suggested that Pakistan would eventually need to reconsider its stance, especially in light of changing regional dynamics and the interest of Pakistan state. अच्छा, मैं आपको एम्बेसडर साहब आपसे ही पूछूंगा क्योंकि आप खुद भी उन दिनों में जो है आप यूके में थे और आप एम्बेसडर भी थे उस वक्त में. तो ये जो इनकी स्टेटमेंट थी परवेज़ मुशर्रफ साहब की, क्योंकि वो चाहते थे और उन्होंने उस वक्त के जो फॉरेन मिनिस्टर थे उन्हें वहाँ पे उनकी मुलाकात भी हुई थी वहाँ के फॉरेन मिनिस्टर से. तो व्हाट डू यू से अबाउट दिस कि जब वो सोचते थे तो क्या पॉसिबिलिटी हो सकती है आने वाले दिनों में?
आई थिंक सो जॉन. अगर आप देखें कि अगर एक सदर मुल्क का लीडर जैसे परवेज मुशर्रफ थे, एंड ही वाज़न्ट द ओनली वन, और भी हैं हु कॉन्स्टेंटली थॉट अबाउट इट, इस पे सोचा है, गहरी सोच. प्रॉब्लम है कि पब्लिक में इमोशन, जज्बा बहुत है, एंड एट दिस स्टेज अनलेस कोई ना कोई हल पैदा होता है, जो आप देख रहे हैं अभी जो हो रहा है मिडल ईस्ट में, अगर हल पैदा नहीं होता और ये कत्लेआम जारी रहती है, then the public will react in a very negative way. और उसका फिर जो backlash होगा गवर्नमेंट के लिए बड़ा मुश्किल होगा to maintain authority and power, and it will be counterproductive. So it is very important कि this should come following as the Pakistan policy is. And by the way, मैं emphasize करना चाहता हूँ, I'm not speaking for the government of Pakistan. I'm not speaking officially. I'm speaking to you बहैसियत एक scholar जिसको फिक्र है, जिसको परेशानी है कि वो देख रहा हूँ दोनों तरफ मुसलमान मेरे भाई हैं, ईसाई मेरे भाई हैं, ईसाई मेरे भाई हैं, क्रिश्चियंस मेरे भाई हैं, and yet there's this violence and this killing. So from that point of view, I just believe that there are many people who would like resolution of the present confrontation. Now, as and when it will happen, that will depend entirely on the initiatives taken by the Arab countries. Because Pakistan का जहाँ तक मुझे पता है, Pakistan's position is that this is an Arab problem and must start with the Arabs resolving it. And जैसे मैंने कहा कि there are some countries, including the UAE and other countries, Morocco है, Jordan है, who are already have relations with Israel, and that may open up dialogue in the future. But वो future में है, and I hope कि ये जो ईरान इसराइल को जो अभी recent जो जंग हुई है, that may act as a catalyst. We can only hope and pray, because it is किसी का फायदा नहीं है in killing and more violence.
You are absolutely very right, and I will come to Dr. Hoti, because I remember that when she was collecting information about his forthcoming book at that time, मैं चाहूँगा कि थोड़ा सा उसके बारे में हम बात कर सके. Dr. Hoti, how does your book Gems and Jewels portray the religious landscape of Pakistan, and what kind of feedback have you received from readers? लेकिन आपके आंसर से पहले मैं चाहूँगा कि अपने जो है हमारे व्यूवर्स हैं उन्हें बताऊँ, क्योंकि ये जो बुक थी बड़ी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बुक थी, और मुझे याद है कि आज से 7 साल 8 साल पहले जब डॉक्टर होती information collect कर रही थी, I also arrange a meeting with the Archbishop जो कि अब हमारे कार्डिनल हैं कराची में, जो कूट्स. सो आई ऑल्सो अरेंज अ मीटिंग, और मुझे याद है तो इस पर जो है बड़ा अच्छा फीडबैक जो है डॉक्टर किबला अयाज साहब ने लिखा है, कि उन्होंने लिखा है कि डॉक्टर होती एडमिट्स द करंट एनवायरनमेंट demands that we bring to light the religious diversity of Pakistan, not only for its value as an actual fact of Pakistani. The book tells the story of the relatively well-known the Klasha, their mysterious history and their uncommon traditions. The Sikh and Hindu, who are often the ancient indigenous people of the land, living in these areas for as long as the rivers and does have existed, and the Christians who are woven into the fabric of the society. She also talks about the Zoroastrians, who are a few but have always produced distinguished individual. She also speaks to Messianic Jew rabbi who tells her that there are estimated 5,000 Messianic Jewish in Pakistan. So Dr. Hoti, I have given a little introduction which Dr. Qibla updated in his article in the news. So please just let me know about this book, and I would love to read this book. I'm very excited about this book, and maybe next time when we will do our program, we will do the whole program on the book. Please let us know about this book.
Thank you, John. So the book is called Gems and Jewels, and it's the religions of Pakistan. I'm going to hold it up for you for a second, because
Yes.
some of you may have seen it. And it is about the 10 faith communities of Pakistan. It was sponsored by a member of the minority, Iskandar Bhandara. And the book really is based in fieldwork. So it's based in social anthropology. And it's example-free. So it's like basically fieldwork or research across Pakistan, but it's meant to be accessible and really look at this beautiful landscape right from Chitral down to the south into interior Sindh. So we traveled across Pakistan looking at 10 faith communities, including the Zoroastrians, the Kalasha, there's a very small Jewish community, there's a Buddhist community in Sindh, there was the Baha'i community, there were Sikhs, Christians, of course, across Pakistan. There's the Hindu community, which is a huge community, and then the majority is Muslim. So often when we do see a country, we see it in very black and white. You know, we see this country as Muslim or, you know, one particular country. But the reality is there's so much diversity. And this is what I wanted to show in the book. That number one, the diversity. Number two, the ideals of each faith. Because the ideals of each faith talk about love and respect for humanity. And it's such a strong message, because that is the message of Quaid-e-Azam. Quaid-e-Azam's message was that if you're a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu or a Muslim, you can go to your places of worship. You're free to worship. You're not restrained by hatred or violence or sectarianism or polarization. So the message of the book really reminds us of the ideals of each faith and the ideals of the country and ideals of human rights and the United Nations. So the book started like that, and it's basically voices and stories and beautiful stories of Baba Guru Nanak and the story of Zoroaster, the story of Jesus and his emphasis on love, the beautiful verses from the Bible, the Holy Quran. There's lovely verses from the Hindu text, which emphasizes peace, 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 again and again. So again, the book is about ideals. And when I look at the world today, on the topics that you were talking a little earlier with Professor Ahmad, it's so sad to witness this as a mother and as an academic and as a person of the world. You know, we come from Pakistan, but we're traveling across the world. We live in the United Kingdom and the US and across the world. So you feel part like a global citizen. You respect all of humanity. And again, having studied both these faiths, the Jewish community and the Muslim Christian community very closely and looked at their relations, they're like siblings. So siblings means they're from one God. God loves all of his creatures, all of his humanity equally and dearly, because God is love, as we discussed. But when we see so much hate played out on our screens, on Instagram, every day, and there's so much misunderstanding, there's labeling of other communities, then one gets extremely sad, because you're going further and further from those ideals, the ideals of the Quaid-e-Azam who set the book, the ideals from human rights, the ideals of the sacred text. And in a similar effort, John, what we did was much later at the Higher Education Commission with the United Nations on prevention of genocide. We did a webinar including 200 universities of Pakistan. And that was lovely to see, because we had members of the minorities there. So we had a Christian professor, we had a Muslim professor talking about the Sirat, and then we had the Parsi and Baha'i and a Sikh army officer from Pakistan. All of them there talking about their perspectives, talking about how to strengthen the curriculum and include the voices. So all these little efforts were beautiful little efforts I saw, not for myself, but from the team and this group of people who are willing to sit together on different platforms and make a difference. Because yes, there is the toxic, the terrible stuff we see, the killings and the shootings and little kids being slammed on the floor, and there's madness. It's literally madness. But then on the other hand, you have these beautiful ideals, and we have to remind ourselves, go back to it. That's why when you asked how can religious leaders contribute, this is how they can contribute to going back. How can scholars contribute? They can read these books and teach them.
Thank you, Dr. Hoti, and I will come back to you. I know that we discuss about the peace. Everybody loves peace, but there should or there must be somebody who will take the responsibility to talk with the different leaders. And one of the opportunity we have seen recently, and we see every day, after taking the role as a president of USA, the role did President Donald Trump play in facilitating the Abraham Accords? How have the peace agreements signed during Trump's presidency affected regional stability and alliances in the Middle East? So this question is to you, Ambassador Akbar. We have seen recently Pakistan's Field Marshal General Asim Munir recently met with President Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has also played a vital role making different deals. Stopping the war between Pakistan and India, and also we have seen recently he talked with the Prime Minister of Israel, and today, by the time I was coming, I was just heard some news that Israel also agreed they are going to cease fire in Gaza. So आप मुझे बताइए कि ये सारी चीज़ों को देखते हुए आप समझते हैं कि जो एफर्ट जो है प्रेसिडेंट डोनाल्ड ट्रंप कर रहे हैं वो वाकई फ्रूटफुल है और इसके नताइज बेहतर होंगे?
John, I have been watching the drama. आपको पता है मेरी नई किताब is called America at the Crossroads. वो अभी this just coming out. लंदन में छपी है. President Donald Trump का बड़ा interesting role है. He has more power than I think many presidents in American history. And इसका जो characteristic है, he can make bold decisions because he's an outsider. He doesn't come up from within the machine. Yeah. He's a Democrat and Republican. He's coming from outside business with that contract. Now he has constantly said, "I want peace." And आपने देखा इजराइल और ईरान की जो जंग हो रही थी, he said, "Stop, जंग बंदी करो, stop the firing." दोनों ने कहा अच्छा ठीक है, but नहीं, they carried on. And then वो बड़ा गुस्सा हुआ on television. In fact, उसने कुछ unparliamentary language भी इस्तेमाल की. And then they both stopped firing. So he is determined, or as long as he's there, he's president, he has the capacity, because American president की बड़ी authority और बहुत power है, बहुत ताकत होती है उसने in that office, and he can implement peace. He is aware, वो बार-बार कहता है कि यूक्रेन और रशिया का है नंबर 1, गाजा में हो रहा है और इजराइल का और अरब्स के साथ, और फिर इंडिया और पाकिस्तान. एंड पाकिस्तानियों के लिए दे शुड नो कि after his famous meeting with Field Marshal Munir, मीटिंग के बाद वो इतना मुतासिर हुआ, impressed हुआ Field Marshal के.
He mentioned yesterday in a meeting at NATO meetings.
नहीं, John, he came out and he said, "I love Pakistan." तो हर पाकिस्तानी के लिए, you see, वो हमारे लोग जो है उसमें लगे रहते हैं ना कि मैं इस पार्टी का हूँ, मैं उस पार्टी का हूँ, मैं पंजाब का हूँ, मैं पठान हूँ, सिंधी हूँ. But he said, "I love Pakistan." मतलब he is taking Pakistan as an entity. So I think that is a very big plus, and as long as he's there, I hope that he continue to make sure कि इंडिया पाकिस्तान में कोई फिर एक जंग ना हो, फिर एक राउंड ना हो, because काफी लोग आपको पता है बड़े शरीर में बार-बार कह रहे हैं कि अनफिनिश्ड बिजनेस है, हमें फिनिश करना है. कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो बहुत एक्सट्रीम बातें कर रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान को खत्म कर देंगे. डिसमेंटल कर देंगे और बहुत ही गंदी किस्म की बातें हो रही हैं। सो ट्रम्प का जो अपना विजन है, इट इज बेस्ड इन ब्रिंगिंग पीस, एंड क्योंकि पाकिस्तान हैज नाउ नॉमिनेटेड हिम फॉर द नोबेल प्राइज फॉर पीस, आई थिंक दैट will act as a big incentive that people are taking him seriously and he is committed to peace. And before I finish this, John, I want to take a few seconds to point out that Dr. Hoti की जो किताब है Gems and Jewels, it's a unique book because इसमें she has pointed and studied 10 religions of Pakistan. And
Yes.
people are amazed because Pakistanis are associated with the majority religion, which is Islam, but they don't know that there's so many religions who all feel, yeah, what Amne's finding was, all these religions feel very proud of being Pakistani. Whether they are Christians or Hindus or Sikhs, they feel ये हमारा मुल्क है, ये हमारी धरती है, and we have pride in this. This is a great finding, and it is all based in personal research. ऊपर से खैबर से लेकर कराची तक, she traveled for 2-3 years writing this book. And ये जो जिसका कोट आपने अभी पढ़ा है अपने किबला साहब,
जी जी,
ये कोई डॉक्टर किबला कोई ऑर्डिनरी आम आदमी नहीं है, ये डॉक्टर किबला इज चेयरमैन ऑफ द इस्लामिक आइडियोलॉजी काउंसिल ऑफ पाकिस्तान. सो अगर उस लेवल के लोग इनको अप्रूव करें, इनकी किताब को सराहें, तो इसका मतलब है कि शी हैज़ गॉट द अप्रूवल ऑफ इवन दोज पीपल जो नॉर्मली आपको पता है जो रिलीजियस स्कॉलर्स होते हैं, दे आर नॉट दैट ईजी टू प्लीज, लेकिन फिर भी they are all 100% supporting the research he's done. So these are the things that will help improve relations between communities.
एम्बेसडर साहब, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा क्योंकि जाहिर सी बात है आप जिस पोजीशन पर रहे हैं, आप क्योंकि यूके के हाई कमिश्नर रहे हैं और बड़े अच्छे तौर पे दुनिया के दूसरे भी जो डिप्लोमेट्स हैं उनके साथ मुलाकात करते थे, कम्युनिटी के साथ मुलाकात करते थे. आप क्या समझते हैं कि पाकिस्तान की जितने भी इस वक्त हाई कमीशन या कौंसलेट है, उन्हें इस वक्त क्या करना चाहिए कि वो दूसरे मज़ाहिब के लोगों से मिले जो दुनिया में दूसरी जगह पे हैं? फॉर एग्जांपल मैं अगर यूके में हूँ तो उनका रूल आप किस तरह से देखते हैं और उस पर और बेहतरी हम कैसे लेके आ सकते हैं?
जॉन, ये बहुत ही अहम सवाल है और मैं तो चाहता हूँ कि जो आपके फॉरेन ऑफिसर पाकिस्तान की, दे शुड डिस्कस दिस क्वेश्चन. बिकॉज मैं तो बार बार कहता हूँ कि हर फॉरेन डिप्लोमेट जो है पाकिस्तान का, ही मस्ट प्ले द रोल ऑफ अ ब्रिज बिल्डर. अगर वो इंग्लैंड में है तो ही मस्ट गो आउट, ही मस्ट मीट पीपल, ही मस्ट गो टू द religious folk, he must go to the non-religious folk, he must go to the churches, to the bishops, archbishops, scholars, उनके साथ राब्ता करके promote understanding अपना पाकिस्तान क्या है, तारीख क्या है, हिस्ट्री क्या है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्रिश्चियंस का रोल, how many Pakistanis know कितना कलीदी रोल रहा है क्रिश्चियंस का. They have played a critical role. आपको पता है ऐसे ऐसे नाम है, कॉर्नेलियस जैसे चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ पाकिस्तान क्रिश्चियन. किसको पता है कि some of the leading figures in the Pakistan Air Force Defense Services were Christian. How many people know कि जो मेन एजुकेशन, मेरी जो तालीम है, डॉक्टर होती को, this was given by Christian priests and nuns. And we are very grateful for that. So these are facts that Pakistan should be able to promote and tell people that this is what Pakistan is. ये जो Gems and Jewels किताब है, आप अगर पढ़ते हैं तो आप देखते हैं, my goodness, इतनी डाइवर्सिटी है इस मुल्क और इतना टॉलरेंस है, इतनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, इतनी एम्ब्रेस है ऑफ ईच अदर. अब आप पढ़ते हैं, यू आर फ्रॉम द पंजाब, आप बुल्ले शाह को पढ़ते हैं, सी द ब्यूटी ऑफ दैट पोइट. या सिंध में तो बिच्छा है, अगेन ब्यूटी, और रहमान बाबा इन द फ्रंटियर. दीज आर ग्रेट पोइट्स ऑफ द लैंड, रूरल पाकिस्तान, representing the real people of Pakistan. So these are things that diplomats must promote because it's a very critical time. And I must say, ये जो अभी झड़प हुई है इंडिया के साथ, diplomats did very well, defense services did extremely well. आपको पता है पाकिस्तान एयरफोर्स ने कमाल किया था, लेकिन diplomats also did very well because बहुत propaganda था against Pakistan. But they did very well. They were roaming around, meeting people, taking initiatives, and that pace has to continue. जो एक किस्म के आप समझ लो चैलेंज था, they rose to that challenge.
Thank you, Ambassador Akbar. I will go back to Dr. Hoti. Dr. Hoti, we have discussed about your book, and I would love to discuss more in coming days. But just tell me, what's your role currently playing in bringing different community together, particularly in promoting interfaith dialogue and religious tolerance. It's a very, very important.
Thank you very much, John. So that's a really good question. I have been writing, I've been teaching on the subject in Pakistan, in Europe, in Cambridge, and in America, and in the Middle East at different universities. One of the points I'd like to highlight, one or two examples, were when through Zoom and post-COVID, when people thought we couldn't make that connection, I was able to arrange a Christian school in Cambridge with mainly girls and connect them through Zoom to Pakistan's Fatima Jinnah University. And as you all know, Fatima Jinnah was the sister of the founding father of Pakistan. So that university is very central, and it is based in Pindi at the former Prime Minister's house. It's a beautiful historical building. So the the university and the girls' school in Cambridge were able to connect and do peace building. So I was able to teach that course. And similarly, I worked with the United Nations, as I mentioned earlier, and the higher education commission in bringing faith communities together. So our role is really to connect different institutions. And I'm really keen, because I feel that conflict is very hard and terrible to witness. There's so many lives being lost on both sides of the conflict. And in Pakistan, India situation, we also saw a very tense moment. But that was also a great opportunity, because Pakistan got to portray its perspective, it got to the world stage, got to see Pakistani. So some videos that funny little videos that Pakistani women are producing, men are producing. So people really got to see the faces of Pakistan. So I think conflict is very hard, but out of it come opportunities. And I think this is the right time for faith leaders, for academics, for peace builders, for policymakers, not to shy away, because some of them said, this conflict is political, so we should stay away from it. And a lot of interfaith people stayed away. But I think it's the right opportunity to jump in and really contribute towards peace building. And in a small way, I've been doing that, and this is our latest book on the Sirat, which is again about peace building and empathy and mercy, and the concept of mercy and inclusion. So these are small efforts, and I hope we will be able to do them in concrete ways through teaching and through dialogue at universities and schools.
Thank you very much for the update, and we are with you whenever you need any of our support. We are here to support you. It's a noble cause. And Dr. Saab and Professor Akbar, we only have 5 minutes left, but important question, in your capacity as an ambassador and professor, what role you are playing to bring Jews, Muslim and Christian together? What are the real challenges you are facing?
Well, John, मैंने after 9/11 जब ये हुआ था, तो मुसलमानों पे बहुत प्रेशर था. People had isolated Muslims, the Islamophobia बहुत बढ़ गया था. So उस वक्त I worked with the Bishop of Washington, John Ching, and the senior Rabbi Bruce Lustig of the Hebrew congregation, largest congregation in Washington. तो हम तीनों ने we started the Abrahamic initiative of dialogue, friendship, and हम बहुत we traveled, we talked, we led processions, spiritual processions, and promoted understanding. लोगों ने बड़ा appreciate किया because Muslims were isolated. उनके खिलाफ बहुत propaganda हो रहा था. So these two, the bishop and the senior rabbi, मेरी बड़ी मदद इन्होंने की. अब इस दफ़ा मैंने देखा है, मुझे अफसोस ये है कि वो जो initial जज्बा था और dialogue थी, वो थोड़ी सी slow हो गई. मैं तो कहता हूँ in some areas it's almost collapsed. So I'm constantly trying to continue my dialogue. मैंने after 9/11 वो Judea Pearl थे, father of Danny Pearl, जिसको कराची में लोगों ने बहुत बहुत जुल्म किया था उस बच्चे को, दे स्लिट हिज थ्रोट, गला काटा था. So जुडे पर उसका जो वालिद था, he and I started a dialogue throughout अमेरिका में, कनाडा में, हम यूके आए थे. आपके जो माशाल्लाह चीफ रबाई थे उनके साथ we went to the House of Lords. वहाँ हम बोले, बहुत ज़बरदस्त रिस्पॉन्स था. Again, the idea was to promote understanding Jews, Muslims, Christians, and we succeeded. So I'm again starting, जुडे से मेरी बात हो रही है कि next couple of weeks we'll have another dialogue and start this again. But at the same time, John, my friend, you know, at this age you get old, so you have to hand it over to the younger generation. So Dr. Hoti has to take the lead. और उनके साथ बस I hope God is kind to her and supports her. And आप जैसे दोस्त जिनका खलूस है और सिंसियर है, उनको support करें, because she is the next generation and she has to succeed. इसलिए I miss Dr. James Shera very much, because he was fully supportive of her and encouraged her all the time.
Ambassador Akbar, our full support is with you, and you remember that when Dr. Houthi has invited me last time at the University of London for the program, for your picture, for your movie, a Jinnah movie, and I was there, and even I have written a beautiful article on this. Dr. Houthi, we have only 2 or 3 minutes. What message would you like to give to our viewers, from this platform? 1 minute to you and 1 minute for Professor Saad.
I want to say finally that let's try to convert that hate into respect for other people. So let's stop labeling. Let's stop, any harm to another group of people. This is not a good thing. So let's convert that into love, because love is a sense of respect and inclusion for the people and other communities, their voices and their perspectives.
Ambassador Saab, how would you like to conclude, please?
John, I would like to conclude by reminding the audience that world religions, your bade religions of Hinduism, the most important concepts are Shanti, which is peace, Seva, which is service, Ahimsa, which is non-violence. Command hai to love one another. Islam mein बार बार we are told Sulh Kul, peace with everyone. Allah Ta'ala के नाम है रहमान और रहीम. जुडाइज्म में आपको पता है कि हिलल the elder, जब बड़ा मशहूर रैबाई था हिस्ट्री में, उससे पूछा था how do you define Judaism? उसने कहा था to treat others as you expect them to treat you. So in all these great religions you have a sense of embracing the universe, पूरे universe को. And that is what I would like that message to be carried to your audience.
Ambassador Akbar and Dr. Houthi, thank you very much for your valuable time. It was a lovely program with you. I hope our audience, our viewers like this program. We tried our level best to cover few things. There are a lot which can be discussed later, but we tried, and our subject was diplomacy beyond borders. So definitely you are in USA, I'm in London, so definitely interfaith leadership and regional stability is very, very important for us to bring the peace and harmony. Thank you very much to all our viewers, and thank you Dr. Houthi and Ambassador Akbar. Thank you very much.